Okay, let's see what we got going on. Okay. All right, so angles 1 and 2 are both supplementary to 3. Okay, so this is the congruent supplements theorem. Okay, that's what we're working with here. So for instance, if I just made something up off the top of my head, let's suppose we start with angle 3 right here. And so, okay, what if angle 3 measured, say, 50 degrees? All right, now 1 and 2 are both supplementary to 3. So let's see, if I put angle 2 right here, okay, angle 2. Now we know that angle 2 and angle 3 have to add up to 180 degrees because they're supplementary. So 180 minus 50 is 130. So that means angle 2 has to be 130. And if I take angle 1 over here, again, we know that angle 1 and angle 3 have to be supplementary. So if I say that's angle 1, okay, well 1 and 3 have to add up to 180 degrees because they're supplementary. So that's 130 degrees. So notice what's going on here is if 1 and 2 are both supplementary to 3, 1 and 2 are both supplementary to 3, notice that angle 1 and angle 2 have to be congruent. Okay, so we have to end up with the measure of angle 1 equal to the measure of angle 2. Okay, so if we set these two angle measures equal to each other, we can solve for x. Okay, so let's see. 8/5 x plus 13/9 equals negative 1/3 x plus 37/2. And I have to solve this guy. Okay, so I'm going to add 1/3 x to both sides. Okay, so I take the 8/5 and add 1/3 to it. Okay, and I'm going to leave it as an improper fraction. It's 29/15 because we know variables don't like mixed numbers. So we leave coefficients, we leave them as improper fractions. So bring down the 13/9 and bring down the 37/2. Now I'm going to have to subtract 13/9 from both sides. So when I do that, I'm going to get 29/15 x equals, okay, so I have to go 37/2 minus 13/9. Okay, and I'm going to get 307/18. Okay, then I have to take that 307/18 and divide it by 29/15. So we divide by 29/15. And I am going to get 1535 over 174. Okay, now I notice some of you probably might be looking at that and saying, oh God, that can't be right. Well, no, of course it can be right, okay? So we just have to check. So I have to go back up and I have to substitute in here and substitute in here. If we get the same angle measure, then we're correct. Okay, so the measure of angle 1 is going to be 8/5 times x. That's 1535 over 174, and then add the 13/9. Okay, and then for a measure of angle 2, I have to go negative 1/3 times my x, which is 1535 over 174, and then add the 37/2. Now my guess is that we're probably not going to get angle measures that come out to integers. They're going to come out to some sort of fraction, mixed number, whatever. Okay, so let's just take them one at a time. So we go 8/5 times 1535 ABC 174, enter, and then plus 13/9. Okay, so right here I am getting 15 and 146 over 261 pesos. Okay, so something between 15 and 16 degrees. Okay, so let's do this guy. So let's go negative 1/3, okay, times 1535 ABC 174, hit enter, and then add 37 halves, plus 37 ABC halves. And I am getting 15 and 146 over 261 pesos. And you look here, we're in good shape. Okay, so angle 1 and angle 2 are congruent. Okay, therefore we know that our solution for x is good, and we've come up with our answer, because what did it want? Find x. Okay, so here's our x. Here's our answer right here. And obviously, we checked it. All right, so that's good. All right, let's take a look at this next guy. Okay. Now 1 and 2 are both complementary to 3. Okay, so they're both complementary to 3. Complementary means they add up to 90 degrees. Okay, so once again, this is, rather than being the congruent supplements theorem, this is the congruent complements theorem. So for instance, let's suppose we took angle 3, like this. And I said, okay, suppose angle 3, okay, is 40 degrees, like that. Well, angle 1 has to be complementary with it, okay? So we say, okay, let's see, get angle 1 right here, right there. And you say, okay, well, if they're complementary, they have to add up to 90 degrees, so this would have to be 50 degrees. Okay, and then if we take angle 2 right here, well, again, angle 2 and angle 3 are complementary, so this would have to be 50 degrees. So notice that angle 1 and angle 2, if they're both complementary to the same angle, they have to be congruent. So we have to end up with the measure of angle 1 is equal to the measure of angle 2. Okay, so we set that up. So let's see, angle 1, 2x squared plus 4x minus 15 has to be equal to the measure of angle 2, which is x squared plus x plus 25. Okay, so we put it in standard form. So I'm going to bring this guy over, make it minus. Bring this guy over, make it minus. Bring this guy over, make it minus. Okay, so 2x squared minus x squared is x squared. Okay, 4x minus x is 3x. And negative 15 minus 25 is negative 40 equals 0. Okay, so I can factor that guy. Okay, the x squared splits up into x and x. The constant term is negative, so one of them is positive, one of them is negative. And since the leading coefficient is 1, I say, what are the factors of negative 40 that add up to positive 3? That would be a positive 8 and a negative 5. Okay, so we set the x plus 8 equals 0, and we get x equals negative 8. We set the x minus 5 equal to 0, and we get x equals 5. Okay, so these are my possibilities. I've got to check them now, okay, and see if they work out. Okay, so let's see, we check. Okay, how about we check negative 8 first? Okay, so let's check x equals negative 8. So we go to the measure of angle 1. And so that's going to be 2 times negative 8 squared plus 4 times negative 8 minus 15. Okay, so that is 2 times 64. Okay, 4 times negative 8 would be negative 32, and then minus 15. So let's see, 2 times 64 is 128 minus, well, if I subtract both of those, that's like subtracting 47. Okay, so if I go 128 minus 47, 128 minus 47, I get 81 degrees. Okay, so 81 pesos for the measure of angle 1. So let's see if we get the same thing for the measure of angle 2. Okay, angle 2 is right here, so I go negative 8 squared plus negative 8 plus 25. Okay, so this is going to be 64 minus 8 plus 25. So 64 minus 8 would be 56 plus 21. That gives me 81 pesos. Okay, so notice right here, this guy we hold on to. Okay, so x equals negative 8, okay, is one of our answers. Now we have to check x equals 5. Okay, so we go the measure of angle 1 equals, okay, 2 times 5 squared plus 4 times 5 minus 15. Okay, so that is going to be 2 times 25. This will be plus 20 minus 15. So let's see, 2 times 25 is 50. 20 minus 15 is 5, so I get 55 degrees. Okay, let's check measure of angle 2 then. Okay, so x squared, that gives me 5 squared plus 5 plus 25. So I get 25 plus 5 plus 25 is 30. So notice I get 55 pesos. So both of these solutions work out. It says find x, okay? So both of these are answers, okay? Both of them work out. Okay, we're good there. Okay, let's see what's going on with this third one. Okay, angle 1 and angle 2 are both right angles. Well, if they're both right angles, they have to both measure 90 degrees, which would mean that their measurements are equal. So we know we're going to have the measure of angle 1 equal to the measure of angle 2. Okay, so we could go this route. This is one way to set it up. Okay, so I get 5x cubed minus 15x equals negative 4x cubed plus 66x. Okay, so I'm going to put it in some sort of standard form. So I'm going to bring this guy over, change it from negative to positive, and I'll bring this guy over and change it from positive to negative. Okay, so I'm going to get 5x cubed plus 9x cubed. I'm sorry, plus 4x cubed, so that'll give me 9x cubed. And then I'm going to get negative 15x minus 66. So negative 15 minus 66, I'm pretty sure that's negative 81. Negative 81x equals 0. All right, now you take a look here and notice that I have a GCF I can factor out. I factor out a 9x. And so I'm left with x squared minus 9 equals 0. Now that's a difference of two squares. So I get 9x. This guy's going to factor into two binomials that are exactly the same other than the sign. So x squared gets split up into x and x. The constant term is negative, so one's positive, one's negative, okay? And the square root of 9 is 3, so I get an x plus 3 and an x minus 3. Okay, so we set 9x equal to 0. We set x plus 3 equals 0. And we set x minus 3 equals 0. So when I solve this, I just divide both sides by 9. 0 divided by 9 is 0. So I get x equals 0. Here I subtract 3 from both sides, so I get x equals negative 3. Here I add 3 to both sides, so I get x equals 3. Okay, so those are my possibilities. We've got to check these guys and see what happens. Okay, so I'm going to check x equals 0 first. Okay, so I go the measure of angle 1 equals. That would be 5 times 0 cubed minus 15 times 0. So notice we're going to get 0 degrees. Okay, I'll get the same exact thing here with the measure of angle 2 because I go negative 4 times 0 cubed. Okay, plus 66 times 0. So that's going to be negative 4 times 0, and that's going to be 66 times 0. So I get 0 plus 0 is 0 pesos. Now, a 0 degree angle doesn't make a lot of sense. Okay, so this guy right here, okay, we would say no. Okay, that's not a valid solution for the situation. Okay, because we don't want an angle that measures 0 degrees. It's not even an angle then. Okay, so let's see what's going on with the other guys. Let's check x equals negative 3. Okay, so I say the measure of angle 1 equals 5 times negative 3 cubed minus 15 times negative 3. Okay, so that will give me 5 times negative 3 to the third power is negative 27. and then negative 15 times 3 is positive 45. So I'm going to get a negative 135 plus 45. Okay, that gives me a negative 90 degrees. Okay, well, right now I should be thinking something's wrong because we don't have negative angle measures. I'm going to check the measure of angle 2 anyway. Okay, so here we go. Negative 4 times negative 3 cubed plus 66 times negative 3. So I'm going to get negative 4 times negative 27 minus 66 times 3. 66 times 3, that's negative 198. Okay, so let's see, I'm going to get 4 times 27, okay, is 108. Remember, that's negative times a negative, so it's positive, minus 198. So that gives me a negative 90 degrees. So of course it gives us the same angle measure, but negative angles, we don't deal with them in Euclidean geometry. So this guy again, okay, is a no. Okay, so 2 of our solutions don't work. Let's see if the third guy works. So we check x equals 3. So let's see, the measure of angle 1 will equal, okay, 5 times 3 cubed minus 15 times 3. Okay, so that's going to give me a 5 times 27 minus 45. So that gives me 135 minus 45, which is 90 degrees. Okay, so I feel good so far. So the measure of angle 2. Okay, we are going to go negative 4 times 3 cubed plus 66 times 3. Okay, so that is negative 4 times 27 plus 198. So that's going to give us a negative 108 plus 198. Okay, that's 90 pesos. Okay, now not only is angle 1 and angle 2 congruent, but notice they're both 90 degrees, which means they're both right angles. Okay, so our only answer, okay, is x equals 3. That's the only guy that makes any sense. Okay, all right.